of this London Classique course that we're going to do a couple or 3 laps of actually as we roll around. Nice flat course, see all the sights in London, but let's click over to that capper. Tim, you can talk us through a little bit of this, and then we'll do a little bit each.
After a pretty solid lead in, they'll head out here onto the red carpet and work their way around the London Classic course. So pretty flat. A couple of little moments here where it does kick up, of course, and we'll go through that in a second. But an opportunity here, certainly early part of the lap, and you'll pick up just a chance to hit the heart rate down. But this is where it's sort of just a chance here to ramp up just here right now, 3, 4, 5%, and then they roll across the top and things settle down. So one for the sprinters as well. Yeah, definitely. Really a flat course, obviously, the Classique with the QU in it. So great course to get involved in a group. You can have a little push off the front and try and break a few legs if you can. You'll hit this little 180-degree turn just coming up here, and then you'll see here, Tim, what's this kite called? That's the Flamme Rouge. So you roll through that. That signifies 1 kilometre to go. You hit the red carpet again, 300 down to the finish. Yeah, 300 down to the finish. Lots of big power-ups being played at that point, of course. It's about 22 kilometres around the 3 laps and 120 metres total. So not too much climbing all around. So you'll see potentially some groups working together. Much lower numbers, of course, in this league race than the community race. But these are for private events, so a chance for you to get involved in the league. And sometimes these races with smaller numbers actually make for more exciting moments as well, because you get groups of 3s and 4s really throwing it down at various stages. And let's have a look at some of those riders now. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see some really good packs and get to highlight some really good riders as we go around. So a couple of athletes that I know just backed up from that Crit City race. First one we're going to highlight is the man by the name of Mike Leadbeater out of New Zealand. This man has built and built and built. There's a good little mountain biking shot there as well. Mike's 178 centimetres tall, 73 kilos, 53 races under his belt, and picked up a couple of silvers or second places in his last 10 starts. He's really building through this series. His best 2 ever performances in e-racing have come in the KOA Sports races, so watch for him. It's about 20% higher, and we'll call that the old broadcast FTP as he rolls around as well. He'll be a few lengths back when the finish comes up, no doubt about it. I've had a good look at his data, but watch for him in that sprint to the finish. He will be absolutely ripping it up, and always good to see our friends from the Long White Cloud joining us on this race in the KOA Sports League. Yeah, speaking of which, of course, Anzac Day just coming up. It's Anzac Day tomorrow, if you don't mind. So good to see you are switched on. So it's sort of, a really important holiday or day for Australians and New Zealanders. So Kirsty Sheehan, we're going to have a look at here now. We actually saw her in the race. Hopefully she'll jump across and do the double. And that's Kirsty there running out on the Queen K in Ironman Hawaii. Her achievements and accomplishments in endurance sport are no mean feat. One of the real quality age group athletes on the long distance triathlon circuit, and really impressive person, really great person, Kirsty. So and a coach herself at Multidimensional Coaching, if you want to check that out, and knows a fair bit about nutrition. So just a couple of races to her name. We've actually, as a coach, just introduced her to Zwift Racing and really trying to get that FTP up. So a perfect example is Kirsty. We're definitely trying to work on her bike at the moment and close that gap on the Queen K and sections, and we're literally using Zwift Racing to form part of that improvement curve so she can perform better and move much closer to that fruit bowl over in Kona. So this is where Zwift Racing translates to the real world, out on the big stage. So good luck to Kirsty backing up here. Let's see if she can get it done here. Yeah, awesome to see, and always joining us now week in, week out is Kirsty. Just having a look back in the paddock, we've got 4 minutes 20 to race start, and a couple of comments coming through there. Good to see Rusty Devlin tuning in there, and the great Tommy Morwood chiming in with a couple of comments as well. And a shout out to a man I never thought would dial into our broadcast, but the great Mr. Sir Terry Bywater coming in hot from Sydney. So good to see you out there, Tezza, having a look. And let's highlight our third and final rider for this race here around London Classique. This is a man who just raced Fran Dal Santo, and not to be confused with the great Nicky Daltin, but Fran is another Argentinian rider that's joining us now, another member of Team ZF and another ex-professional racer. He's just
recently got into the Zwift racing, 21 races in, a few top 10s in there, so he is definitely coming through. And another reason I wanted to highlight Fran, again, along like many other riders at the moment, his best performances are coming in these Zwift community races through KOA Sports League as well. So some huge numbers. Week in, week out, 20-30% improvement coming through. That will obviously taper out as we get further up the chart. But great to see Fran really building. He has a huge sprint, this guy. So watch him for a 16 watt per kilo sprint when the hammer drops. That will be really good to see. So good to see, and a great little photo up there. Looks like he's done a bit of photography in the past, maybe a bit of modelling like you, Kappa. Good little modelling mountain bike shot there. So let's throw back and check out what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go, Greg. So just standing here to the other side, and you can see that paddock commentary. So before pre-race, you see a little bit of banter, and you can get involved with via the Zwift Companion app and put some messages of encouragement, or have a little bit of a whinge about whatever you want to have a bit of a whinge about. So 2.5 minutes to go here to the start of 3 laps of London Classic. We'll be back really shortly with the start of the KOA Sports League race.
So, Tim, we've seen a fit as we come back to the paddock. That BMC team machine is a phenomenal machine, and hopefully I'll be on a little new one later in the year. We're down to 3 bikes in our house, so I need to get that back up to 4 very soon. So, minute 10 to go. One thing that's coming through from a lot of riders is how do I go from one race to the other race? So, Tim, talk us through what some of these athletes are doing as they just jumped off a 120% threshold effort for 30 minutes, and they're about to do another one.
Well, you'd like to think they've done a bit of a warm up before the Warrior race. Some people, of course, coming in fresh to this race. Some people coming in with having burned a fair few matches. So we'll go through that. So obviously a really good time to get that high cadence going, flush out a lot of that work, get the heart rate down and recover. Essentially, that's the kind of concept. So it is taking some time to get people to engage. And I don't know whether you've done some of those 2-3 hour rides on Zwift. And I've signed up for 3 races at once and sort of built through the races. And then in the last one, really thrown it all down there and found that to be a really effective workout. So it can be just part of a 90-minute to 2-hour workout on Zwift where you mix it up and throw a few races in there as well. So that's why we try and keep this sort of 15, 20-minute-ish gaps. Maybe it's 5 to 10 for some, but of course can't please them all. So they're about to roll out here as well. We'll keep talking to that. So we'll have plenty of riders here. Again, not the big numbers, of course, we see as a league race, but we're looking to throw in different sorts of concepts as well. So they'll be here on the lead-in, and we'll pick up some of those names. But a nice tight pack, and it would seem we have a cold concept as well, which is good to see. So Tommy Morwood in there, and we'll see all these riders stay together. So just a good chance to refuel as well and get that nutrition, because albeit that Crit City race is under half an hour, for a lot of people, you chew through a lot of calories and a lot of bickies in that Crit City race. So you don't want to be certainly starting this race too depleted, because by then you've probably been going for about 45 minutes. So time to get some calories in, some hydration in, and no doubt the floor is a little bit wet.
Absolutely. So really good front pack here. We can see at least 3 riders in there from Team Relentless.
Kempson.
And Emily Kempson in there again as well, and Kirsty Sheen's in that front group as well. So I definitely saw her pop up there. And shout out to Tommy Morwood, who looks like he's now in the dirt DIRT kit, the red kit. So shout out. And there's Rusty Devlin in there too, Tim, sporting the KOA Sports kit as he goes around in that Warrior jersey.
Yeah, 21 starters here. Johnny Rocket in as well. So Johnny Rocket, of course, most likely streaming over on his pages as well, sitting at the back there in the yellow kit with the big disc wheel. D. Derman team. Definitely he was in the finish of the what we just called there on the community race. I think that was the second finish we called, and he took the chocolates on that second finish. So backing it up, there's exactly a rider there that's gone out and doing the so-called double, which we're trying to push that concept as coaches onto some of our athletes as well, who we feel like are in the right training cycle to do such a thing and use that time to really build out what's a pretty intense 90-minute workout.
Yeah, so just as
unstructured.
Absolutely. So it builds up. So one thing that you get the advantage of is when you race early next week, you'll have that pain in your legs from this week. So as we just drift down here, downhill a little bit here, and we're following Price there just off the front. And I did get Morwood's jersey wrong. He's actually in the KOA Sports jersey. I'll be expecting him to have a big finish and a good amount of Tron bikes in that front group as well, as we see an athlete, the KOA Sports athlete, just coming back to that group there at the back. So, and Rick Charlesworth definitely established in that front group as well. You see his heart rate, Tim, already 147, so not much recovery for the great RC Ivany as he comes across, and he'll be ripping and a tearing as we go around. Only 3 laps here, so quite a short, fast, really good race. So
yeah, still on the lead-in. Of course, they've still got to come off the main strip and kick off. So not much of a lead-in, though, in Zwift Racing, is it, Greg?
That's the lead-in. We were only discussing this. We're going to put this to Eric on our next chat, and we think that any lead-in should have... What sort of car would you like? What sort of car? What would be your favourite car? Kappa? Favourite car? You're a race car driver?
My favourite car?
Yeah.
Wow.
Datsun 120?
No, I'd say a Nissan Silvia.
Nissan Silvia?
Yeah, I used to have one.
Nissan Silvia, oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll run with, what am I going to run with? I'll have a Porsche 911 Boxster, not a Boxster, 911 Turbo. What would you go with, Tim?
Sanyong.
Sanyong, the great Sanyong. Sitting up in the driveway.
Surely it needs to be a Skoda, right?
Sanyong.
So our idea,
Sanyong. They're a beautiful car, great value for money.
Value.
I'm all about value for money, Greg.
Absolutely.
Value for money. And just check
my
coin jar; it's full.
But so let's get back before we put everyone to sleep. Our idea is that we should have a car off the front. And who are we going to get to stand out of the car to wave the flag to drop the hammer on the race? Who
Nathan Guerrera.
So he can, as we see Bickley there, absolutely punching it off the front, and T. Morwood coming across to get back to
asking
his wheel.
The question, definitely.
So yeah, definitely stretching some legs out as they pass down through past the London Eye and away and around through London.
I'd say about half of the riders in this front pack just did the community race, just looking at some of the names, and some with fresher legs towards the back. So I'd say probably about half. So yeah, Kirsty Sheehan there moving along really well. You can see her heart rate, on Greg's screen there. But C-Dams here at the moment. Really important time maybe, Greg, to go through exactly what you're looking at on a Zwift screen, because often in some of those bigger community races where you've got avatars everywhere, all sorts of stuff happening, if you have no idea what's going on, chances are you have no idea what is going on. So with some of these events with smaller riders, it's a good chance to sit back and watch on your phone or your whatever device you're watching on, and learn from us and try and walk you through and try and educate through what exactly you're looking at and some of the tactics that you might see. So right now, we'll say with, unless we see an attack it here by Johnny Rocket off the front, but we'll try and watch these numbers go up. A good time to see some big numbers, Greg, up this ramp.
Yeah, 4% uphill. If you look on the right-hand side there, 9.1 watts a kilo from Rick Charlesworth, and Johnny Rocket, 8.2 watts a kilo. That's going to blow the pieces out of this front group. You see that group starting to stretch right out now as they come up. 5%, they take a right-hand turn at the top of this hill. So definitely stretching the legs out here, and the Big E just coming straight through the front with Johnny Rocket. Tommy Morwood will be in there somewhere too. There he is coming across to that group. 10.2 watts a kilo from Morwood as he tries to bridge back across to that front four.
It's a brutal lead-in right there, because it blows the pack. So we probably might have lost about half the pack, depending if that other backpack. So yeah, look at that view there. So they're strung out. if you can dig deep over the next 60 seconds and bring this all back together, it will certainly make for a much tighter pack. But Tommy Ward with there not letting that happen. He's just applying the pressure at 5.6 watts per kilo and ignoring all instructions from the broadcasters. So shout out to Tommy there in the green socks.
So yeah, good shout out there to Tommy. And one of the things about the great Tommy Ward, I have raced this man many times in sprint triathlons, and he has one way to go, and that is go. His whole motto is go until you blow.
I've just asked Kappa there to jump back because I would assume that you've got a team there together, but also the heart rate's much higher back here as they try and bridge back across. But we've got all the relentless guys here in the same kit working together like a team time trial. They're going to have to try and work pretty hard to close that 5-second gap because J Rocket, RC, Ivany, Bickley and Price, pretty handy riders. That's now stretched out to 6 seconds. So can they come across and close that gap? I'm not sure.
Which rider from Team Relentless is going to stand up and take one for the team here?
Because there's not much scope there on that heart rate.
No, not with Harris, who we're following at the moment. So Dam's just rolling to the front there as well. So 4 watts a kilo ain't going to bring it back at the moment.
9.
So there's quite a big gap going out to these guys, but a group of 5 and 4 of them in the same team. So maybe they can get it together. But this group is charging along at the front, and they have about 300 metres to go before they go through that finish banner for the first time as they hit the London red carpet and Tim's driveway as they go up towards the finish to take the first power up as they come through as well. So this will be the end of the race where you see this sprint absolutely being launched.
And Stafford Williams there, TTT, yeah, exactly, team time trial with an exclamation point. Putting lots of comments through on Zwift Community Live, so we'll try to respond to a few of those. And Jonathan Giron, of course, having a red hot crack here live as well.
Just to drop back, no, Kappa, you don't have to do this right now, but I'm just having a look on my screen. There's 3 women within 1 minute 30 of each other. So we've got Kirsty Sheehan just coming through there, about 100 metres off that finish line. Emily Kempson just 14 seconds back, and then back to April Gillies, another 1 minute 25, and then back to Leah Smith at 2:55. So definitely a bit going on in that women's division here this morning as well. So good to see all those girls may actually come together.
Nice front pack here, Greg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 riders here in the front pack now. 19 seconds back to that chase pack there, and then another 20 odd seconds back to Kirsty Sheehan. So it was in that lead in, that long drag was just enough to pop everyone and stretch them out and sort them out. But we've got 3 laps to go here, so the lead in is done and they are out here on the London Classic circuit.
Yeah, Morwood laid it down and broke the group apart and established a group of 7 riders, so good to see. And we've got Johnny Rocket, he will be figuring in the finish, and it's good to see Rusty Devlin in that front group as well, along with Bickley, Price and Ivany still in there as well. So a few Tron bikes, which shows the amount of experience. And Tim, how do I get a Tron bike in Zwift?
Well, the first thing you do, you need to sign up to the challenge, which is 50,000 metres of climbing. And of course, forums are full of people that go and do 50,000 metres, go to check their garage, no Tron bike. Uh-oh. You didn't sign up for the challenge, and that happens all the time. So, or you can be like Tim Searle, of course, of AHDR fame, and just go get 20 of those bad boys as you go on your way to doing 1,000,000 metres of climbing or something like that. So, unbelievable. Got a little attack there off the front there, Johnny Rocket, 9 watts per kilo. Not too happy with how things were going right there. A response there by Rusty Devlin of 10.7 watts per kilo. So starting to ask the question, it was just right, they were riding too quiet, Greg. Riding far too quiet, and you get a look back at the other riders now chasing back. You'll see them come through here on the right-hand side. Yeah,
they'll have to burn it up again. That look at that straight off the front there is Bickley now, 8.9 watts a kilo. So
good
he's
stuff.
Just laid it down. So not sitting around here. Got the Big E, Tommy Morwood coming back. So it'll all come back together, but it'll burn up a few biscuits as they go through. And that chase group now, Team Relentless, we'll call that the team time trial of this morning. They're 35 seconds back. You will just see them in the far distance as Kappa spends the helicopter around as we go past Tim's house once again there on the right-hand side.
Which window, me waving from the balcony. I'm on the balcony actually, mate, waving. But you've just missed that. We'll try and get that on the second lap. So nice pack here, and some new people now tuning in, and good to see Greg McDermott is watching in the live coverage.
That's
so
great.
Welcome along, Greg, to the broadcast. Aidan Sinclair as well.
Well,
so,
we don't know. I wonder what happened to Aidan this morning. He didn't figure. He possibly could have had another trainer explosion, or he burned his legs out